Thanks for watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, a Canadian Coronation Street podcast.
And this week we are talking about episodes that aired in Canada from June 24th to 28th. So if you haven't yet watched those and you still want to, avert your ears.
Avert your ears and or eyes. My name is Brittlestar.
My name's Shannon.
Of course, these aren't our real names. Our real names this week are...
I am so pleased to see you. And I'm just, whatever, if you don't feel like talking to me, that's okay. Because I just want to spend time with you and play a little bit of chess. And it's okay.
Being Sam?
Yeah.
It's creepy. I don't like it.
Are you being Ed again, Ed Bailey?
I'm being Kevin.
Yeah, all right. It's one of your weaker ones. Yeah, neither of us were rocking it this week.
It's not been a good week for either one of us.
All right. So this week we have a lot to talk about. We are talking about Carla.
Okay.
We're talking about Roy and Sam.
Yep.
About Bethany and Ellie. About Simon.
Oh my God.
About Nick, Leanne, Rowan, and Toya.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
About Glenda and George.
Yeah.
About Abi, Kev, and Cassie. And of course about Joel and Dee Dee.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. So first off, Carla. So Carla is in the caf trying to talk to Roy, who is very unhappy that she's there. Because he's previously told her he's shunning her, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
As she is leaving, Swain comes in to talk to Roy. And after Carla leaves, Swain says to Roy, you should go easy on Carla. She was well-intentioned, even though what she did wasn't good.
Right.
And then the next time Roy and Carla meet up, Roy is a bit kinder to Carla, a bit softer to her.
Yeah.
So Carla goes to the police station to thank Swain for this influence, and also learns that they're not going to be pursuing charges against Carla and Bobby for lying to police. And that leads Carla to say, you know what? Maybe I can find a job for your daughter that you mentioned likes fashion at my factory.
Just crossing a line a little bit.
It's a little, it feels a little too tit for tat. So anyways.
Well, I think that's what D.S. Swain's looking for. The first part anyway.
Later, Dee Dee, Adam is talking about going to the Barlow goodbye for Simon.
Right.
And Dee Dee rolls her eyes. Dee Dee is a very good eye roller. I do appreciate it.
She is a good eye roller. Yeah,
yes.
I agree.
Rolls her eyes when Adam mentions that Carla is going to be coming to Simon's farewell, saying that the Barlows wouldn't want her there if only they knew. And Adam said, knew what?
Yeah.
And Dee Dee said, well, let me just tell you this thing I learned in confidence as part of my job. And I'll swear you to secrecy about it, because I'm sure you'll keep the secret about something that affected your family greatly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, of course, they're in the pub, and Adam has told the Barlows that Bobby and then Carla had made up this story about the man. That's what led to Daniel being repeatedly hauled in and questioned, losing his job temporarily, all these sorts of things, that none of it was based on truth. Carla she feels bad about it. She was never happy about the situation anyways, and she feels horrible that they put the Barlows, all of them, in that situation. Yeah. Bobby, on the other hand, is a little more cavalier, doesn't really care. Carla gets annoyed with him for being so uninterested in other people's feelings.
Right.
Bobby can kind of sense this. And actually, Bobby starts thinking he says, well, maybe I'll go back I'm thinking I might go back and live with my grandma again.
Please.
And Carla says, okay. And he's like, yeah, maybe I'll just gather all my stuff up. And she's like, okay.
That's what I was saying on the couch as well.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's my main question for you about Carla.
Okay.
Are Carla and Swain going to be the new couple on the street?
I hope so.
I think they will be.
I think they will be too. And it'll bring up the only thing I'm not looking forward to about that is, first of all, D.S. Swain and Carla, good looking couple.
Best looking couple on the street.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yep.
But then the thing I don't like, though, is it'll bring up a whole bunch of like conflict of interest, sort of weirdness and procedural stuff. I don't care about that.
I don't know. They don't seem to really chase down conflict of interest too hard in Weatherfield District Police Station.
True.
Yeah. All right. I figure there's no one Carla's age on the street. She's much in like Sarah's situation. There's no one roughly her age on the street that she hasn't dated.
That's true.
So
that's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not branch out?
Yep.
Why not go to Weatherfield's finest?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Roy and Sam. So Sam comes into the caf for his first visit with Roy since Roy has come home. Roy is very abrupt with him, uses the excuse of the wet floor to keep Sam at a distance, and is quite short with him. After he leaves, Nina chews Roy out for being rude.
Yeah.
And later on, Nina's talking to Sam and finds out that it's going to be, he only has a half day of school the next day because of teacher in service day. So she invites him up to the flat to play chess with Roy.
Okay.
Sam's all happy. Sam is up there setting up his little chessboard. Roy comes home from walking the dog and sees Sam there.
Yeah.
And Roy is, I would say, furious in a Roy way.
He's Roy furious.
Yes.
The furious.
That was pushing it a little hard. So he's on the spot. He does sit and play a game with Sam.
Yeah.
He's not playing very well and isn't interested in having a rematch or letting Sam give him another chance or anything. And Sam, of course, just trundles along, being Sam, being positive, being supportive, and says he'd like to come back and maybe play the next day. And Roy says he doesn't think that's a good idea. Sam leaves. Roy and Nina get into it, and Roy says, basically, this is not appropriate. I should not be playing with this child. I don't want to be called creepy cropper ever again in my life.
Sure.
Sam needs to find friends his own age.
Yeah.
So is Roy right to be upset with Nina? Like, should Roy and Sam continue to have a relationship?
Yes, I think so, but I couldn't figure out how Nina was so oblivious to the fact. It's like the whole thing, all the nasty phone calls and the emails and the posts online. Mm-hmm. How did Nina not think to herself, oh yeah, he probably doesn't want to be, he's probably a little hesitant to optically be with Sam on his own again.
Yeah.
So why not just accommodate that?
That was kind of my thought. Is
play chess in the cafe while there's people there.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to. I hate the idea that Sam has no concerns about any of this stuff.
Sure.
You don't want to put that on him.
No, Sam shouldn't have to worry about that. Exactly,
but
I
also, agree. You shouldn't leave a 10-year-old boy with a 65-year-old man he's not related to. Like, it's probably not a good idea.
It's not fair.
We know Roy is a good guy.
Yeah.
But
which I've maintained this entire time, Shannon, even though you doubted him.
But I will say, I don't know what the statistics are, but I think for children who are abused by an older person, usually people think they've left them with someone safe.
Sure. Exactly.
So this is good practice.
From a parenting perspective,
yes,
you wouldn't necessarily want that, even though you know Roy is okay and he's safe.
Invite Roy over to Nick and Leanne's place to play chess when they're there.
Why not? Exactly.
Yeah.
Turn him into Uncle Roy.
Exactly.
And he comes over and there's always people around.
Yeah.
Never the two of them on their own.
Exactly.
No need to be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. So Bethany and Ellie. So Daniel and Bethany are contacting Nikki to ask if Ellie will consider meeting with Bethany to discuss Lauren and Nathan.
Okay.
And Ellie messages Bethany and says, okay, she'll meet, but Bethany only. So Bethany goes to the flat and they're talking, and Ellie's nervous, and she says that the man was more like her boyfriend than a client, until she wouldn't do something or something wouldn't go his way, and then he would threaten her and was quite frightening.
Right.
And Bethany says that's exactly what it was like for me.
Same story for me. Yeah.
And it sounds like it was the same for Lauren.
Yeah.
So we need to stop this guy before he does it to someone else. So then Bethany pulls out a photo of Nathan and she says, was this him? And interestingly, he and Joel look quite alike. If I had to just talk about some random person I'd seen with a young girl.
They do have like that, because Joel's actually seems like a rounder faced guy, but he's got quite sharp features though.
Yeah. But anyways, shows a picture of Nathan and Ellie says, yes, that's him. So Bethany heads out and Joel comes out from the back bedroom and he's been listening. And he praises Ellie's performance.
Right.
Job well done.
Yeah.
Goes to hand her some money, but he does that taunting thing that every time she reaches out to take it, he yanks it away as if it's a joke.
Yeah.
Which, that made my skin crawl, I think, more than anything I've seen in the past few weeks on that show. Just that.
Which is funny because
display of power.
But it's the same bit that they ran in Pretty Woman.
Yep.
When he goes snap, it snaps the necklace thing closed.
No, that one, because that one they were already getting along. Plus, he then gave it to her the second time.
That's true. So you're allowed so many. You could do one or two.
You can't do any. Just so we're clear.
I wouldn't attempt it. I don't have a death wish.
So Joel later on gets a call from Ellie that Bethany wants to meet again. And he gets really angry and he tells her that's it. She is not going to communicate with Bethany anymore. Drop it. Don't get back to her. Then Joel later hears from Craig that Joel later hears from Craig that the police will be following up with Ellie because Bethany is reported to the police about Ellie's existence, basically. And handed over her contact information against her will.
Bethany.
So many people let that poor girl down.
Let's continue with the Bethany talk.
Yeah.
Let's continue with it.
Joel then goes to meet Ellie.
Yeah.
Not at an apartment. She's somewhere else. It looks like a very
she's left her apartment because she left her roommate said she was gone.
Yeah. So yes, when the police do show up to interview her, her flatmate says she's disappeared.
She's done a runner.
We then later see him outside deleting Ellie from his contacts.
Yeah.
And then we see them meeting. She's coming down a stairwell, but it's very institutional. It was very wide stairs.
It wasn't
an apartment building.
I don't know what it was.
It wasn't a women's shelter, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't think so either. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. But anyways, they go and sit in the car and he says, I told you not to call me anymore. She said, I need money. He said, I gave you 50 pounds. And she says, well, I need 300 pounds. And he says, well, you're going to have to earn it then. And he sort of sits back in the car seat. And Ellie balks at that idea. She's like, no. And then he says, right, that's it then. She goes, no. Okay, no. And then he's like, nope, too late. So he's still, just in case you thought he was getting a conscience.
Skeevy.
He's skeevy.
He's super skeevy.
Yes. And then Bethany finally, and then this is another story that's starting, but we don't know if it's connected to something. Bethany finally gets her forwarded mail from London, and she sees a letter from her old company that she worked for, telling her that she's been using the company credit card to buy things, and she needs to pay it back. Or prove it wasn't her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, you can leave a company and if they don't get your credit card back, they don't cancel it immediately.
I know. You think they would cancel it immediately.
Because it's her own number.
But
anyways.
Nevertheless.
But here is my question.
Okay.
Did the white supremacists group discover her credit card number and use that? Or is this just some random hacker?
I don't know. And I feel it's going to mean something.
Are the items that are purchased going to implicate, either implicate or imply something?
That she's guilty of something?
I don't know. Is it going to be like kind of skeevy stuff that was bought or?
Well, wasn't there like a pair of shoes or something that was bought first of all? I can't
remember.
A pair of trainers or something?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's something to it. There's something to it. I don't know what it is though. I think that it's like connected to Joel or.
I don't know. Do you think it has time to be connected to Joel?
I don't know because it's a weird one. But she said she found the business credit card in her purse, in her wallet.
Yeah, she just sort of pulled it out from her money bit.
But she pulled it out though, and she said, I knew it was here.
Yeah.
Meaning like, maybe you wouldn't know, but see, those of us who have card wallets like that, I know where those cards are. I know that like the Scotia card's on this side.
Yeah.
I know that the MasterCard's on this one in the middle. And I know that the Amex is this way and all that kind of, I know where they are.
Yeah.
So it sounded to me like she knew it's at the back, it's the third last card, and she pulled it out.
Yeah.
And there it was. So I don't think anyone's actually taken the card from her purse.
No.
But I don't know how I don't know.
Internet hackers. Internet.
Yeah.
Okay, Simon. Poor Simon.
Oh, wait, can we talk more about Are we just talking more about Bethany's heroicness?
I don't think so.
We're not?
Oh, well, wait. We are touching on Joel and Bethany a bit later.
Okay, that's good. All right. As long as we can get back to Bethany.
You can make a note if you want about your Bethany.
Don't need to. She's in my head already.
Simon. Poor Simon. The most poorly treated of the current residents of Weatherfield.
He is, not treated the same.
So Leanne doesn't come back from the retreat when she said she would. She didn't come back that evening. And the next day is Simon's day to leave to go and meet Peter. To go on the yacht.
Yeah.
So he's slowly making his rounds to everybody, saying goodbye. Ken is at the flat saying goodbye to Simon when Leanne finally arrives home.
Yeah.
And she was not aware that Simon was leaving, never mind leaving in whatever,
like
an
moments.
hour or two. Yeah. She's furious at Nick and Toya.
Yeah.
Who she views them as encouraging him to leave.
Yeah.
And is upset that they got in touch with Peter to facilitate everything. And she also tells Simon, you can't go, you have to finish your community service hours. And I think none of the three of them, even Ken, I don't think any of the four of them were aware Simon had indeed completed all of his community service hours.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about Simon.
No one was giving him any positive reinforcement for that.
Yearned for the hugs, his cigarette stinking hugs from his father.
So later she's talking to just Nick and Toya and she says they should have gotten in touch with her. And they said they tried. Her phone was off and they told Rowan to tell her about all of this.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I didn't get the message. Leanne then apologized to Simon for not being there for him, which was nice.
Yeah.
However, when he was leaving and she gave him a hug and she said, give me a call if you need me. And he said, well, unless your phone's turned off. She didn't find that very funny.
No. No, she didn't.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
So poor Simon, he's headed off. I mean, I thought him going to Peter wasn't a good idea, but I don't know. Maybe life's going to be actually
it's
better.
The best option for him now.
It currently is.
Was he sleeping on a couch with Bobby currently or something? Or did he move back to Nick and Leanne's? So him and Sam are bunked up now?
Or he's on the couch there? I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's going to be much happier on the boat.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Poor Simon. Okay. So Nick, Leanne, Rowan, and Toya.
Yeah.
So Leanne is furious at Nick and Toya when she comes back late from her retreat, that she feels they've overstepped with Simon in her absence. And she views everything as an attack on her, attack on Rowan, and an attack on the Institute. And she only relents slightly when they tell her that Simon went on another bender. And that's why they had to.
And she feels a little bit bad about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think also her guilt at not being there is leading to her lashing out at them even more.
Sure.
So Rowan comes to the flat later, and then it's just the two of them, and he hugs Leanne, and she tells him she is desperate to upload. Tells him what was said about that they'd talked to Rowan, trying to get in touch with her about Simon. And Rowan says, oh, yeah, no, someone else was supposed to tell you about that. I guess they must not have. And Leanne just went, okay, that's fine. I believe you.
What a dirtbag.
Yes. He then shows Leanne Toya's posts about the Institute that she put online. And Leanne is furious that Toya is attacking us. So she is now part of the Institute.
Yeah.
Toya's in the bistro, gets served with a lawsuit for defamation against the Institute.
Yeah.
Bethany tells Toya that a journo pal of hers has previously tried to investigate the Institute for financial irregularities, but wasn't able to get anyone to talk about it.
Yeah.
So She's basically saying to Toya, yeah, I think there is
something going on,
you're
but
not crazy.
You're up against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toya comes into the kitchen at the flat the next morning really early, and she sees Leanne on a laptop with earbuds chatting to someone and saying, I love you. And then Leanne hears Toya there, shuts the laptop, pretends none of it happened. Toya tells Nick about it, and Nick and Toya are like, yeah, she's probably talking to Rowan.
Yeah.
As we suspected. Nick then comes home to the flat, and he finds Rowan and Leanne sitting at the table holding hands. And he flips out. And
with good reason.
Yes. And Rowan's very condescending. No.
It's his
haircut.
have it
all wrong.
It's his haircut.
It's his haircut.
That's his condescension.
He looks like a 1990s cartoon character.
He looks like any goofwad dirtbag from the 1990s.
Who I would have thought was really cute with that haircut at the time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Until you met me.
That's right. And then it turns out why they're sitting there, it's very emotional for Leanne. They are interacting with an AI aged version of Oliver.
No.
So
no.
As far as Leanne sees, she is talking to this, 8-year-old boy?
Yes.
Who is talking back to her.
Talking back to mommy.
Yes, who is Oliver.
Not healthy.
She says she knows he's not real, but she says it's helping her. Toya later confronts Rowan on the street about exploiting Leanne and says he's just in it for the money, and that once word gets out about using this AI version of her dead son to
creepy
get money from her for the Institute, that's going to be it. They'll be the final nail in the coffin for the Institute. Rowan then alludes to Leanne's history as a sex worker.
Yeah, because he says people will do anything for money.
Yeah.
People always need money. They'll do lots of things for money. And then he mentions the prostitutions or leans into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Toya wasn't aware that Leanne had told him that.
Yes, but then she twigs to that, though.
Yes, and she says, well, that makes sense. Of course, you'd try to blackmail her because that's par for the course.
Absolutely.
For what your kind do.
Yeah.
Later, Nick, Leanne, and Toya are at the flat. They're arguing. The downstairs buzzer goes, and Nick just picks it up and buzzes
them in.
No wonder
Nobody
Craig
cares.
got upstairs to the flat.
Someone has been shot and killed in his apartment before. And he's just buzzing people up?
Yeah.
That's not right.
Yeah. And there's currently a murderer on the loose somewhere.
Just the most modest amount of security could be applied here.
Yep. I agree. Is he in the same building as Bethany and Sarah?
I don't know. I don't think so. But
I think so, because they're both the posh flats.
Yeah, but they come in a different style and the flat's not the same looking.
Maybe it's on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Nick just presses the buzzer and police come up, one of which is Kit.
Mm-hmm.
And Toya is under arrest for murder.
Okay. I have lots of things to say about this. Okay.
Yes.
First of all, the Rowan thing with Leanne, you could tell that the whole thing, what was the term she said, what was the term she'd use when she'd have to log or ledger or...
I think that was just a journaling, but uploading.
Uploading. That's uploading.
Is when she...
And they said uploading. And as soon as they said that, everyone watching could be like, okay, this is just like, it's like Scientology. This is the worst part of Scientology. They're going to reveal all their deepest, darkest secrets, and they're going to feel like they can never leave, or their family will be told all those horrible things they've done.
Yeah.
And so that was the one thing. And then, of course, brilliant that they're using it against Toya.
Yes. Yes.
So she's caused a little trouble.
Yep.
Here's a little taste of what that feels like. Boom.
Yep.
Horrible. Terrible. Yep. And then also the AI thing, when they flipped that around, that was creepy. That was not good. But it reminded me of remember when Kanye West got Kim Kardashian's dad, did a hologram of him?
I never watched it because I don't think
anyone's seen it.
Oh, okay.
And then it had an AI voice of her dad.
Yeah.
And her dad's hologram was saying to her, Kanye's a pretty good guy. And I think there'd be nothing worse. First of all, it'd be traumatic to have a loved one recreated like that unexpectedly.
Yep.
And then beyond that, having their just words put in their mouth.
Yep.
That's weird. Yes.
What's Steve going to do when he finds out about this? He's Oliver's dad, right?
I think Steve's more down to earth, though. Steve's going to be like, this is it's gonna
Well, I know,
hurt
but
him.
it would hurt.
It's gonna hurt him, but he's gonna be like, this is garbage. And maybe Steve will be the one to get her out. Because Steve and Leanne used to go out, didn't they?
Well, yeah, that's why they're Oliver's parents.
That's right.
I think that was just a one-night stand.
I know.
But I think back in their teen years.
But
yes.
Steve's on the loose. Demi's out of the picture. Leanne's going to bust out. She's going to break up with Nick because of this cult, whatever the name is, Alta Vista cult or whatever it's called.
It starts with an A.
And they're going to break up. And then it's going to leave Leanne at odds. And then Steve's going to find out about the stuff that's going on about Oliver. And they're going to bond over it. And then they're going to get together. And it's not going to last.
And then Nick and Toya can get together.
I think Nick needs to... Toya will be a little more, even though she's highly strung, she's still more chill than Leanne.
All right, Glenda and George.
Okay.
So Eileen has called George from Thailand. Jason's medical benefits have run out because he had a motorcycle accident. And he needs, at first, the number was he needs 20,000. But that turns out that was BAT or whatever, and he just needs 500 pounds. So that's a very doable amount.
That's a doable amount. Because when they said the amount initially, I was like, oh, that's just coincidentally the exact amount of money
that Glenda wanted. Yeah. So in the pub later, George is in the pub later with Todd. Glenda's serving. George tells them about this whole thing, or Todd is talking about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Todd says, don't send him any money. Jason's a big boy. He has lots of friends over there.
And 500 pounds isn't beyond the realm of possibility. Sure.
And George says, nope, he sent the money because you have to help out family when they need money and you can help them.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, I felt that Glenda should have hired Dee Dee to roll her eyes for her at that statement.
Yeah.
But Glenda was very calm about that. But she did then later tell Michael about it, but said to Michael that she's actually changed her mind and she doesn't want to sue George anymore.
Yeah.
Because she's realized, looking back on it, that George did run the whole business. She had no interest in doing that. She just left it all to him.
Which was a reasonable thing to say, I think.
And she went off on the cruise ships, which is something she enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And so she's not going to sue.
Right.
And she must remember to tell Dee Dee not to actually go through with sending that letter.
Which really should have been the first thing she did right away.
Yes.
Quick text.
Dee
Dee, don't do it.
Yes. Well, I mean, Dee Dee was drunk over in the corner at the pub on Champagne, but still.
That's true.
Yeah. So then Todd has landed a potentially big client for him and George for the Undertakers.
Yeah.
And she comes over and she wants all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
The full thing. And she wants to pay up front for everything.
Yeah.
So George and Todd are over the moon.
Yeah.
The woman goes out to the car to get her checkbook. And while she's gone, Dee Dee comes in and I don't know if it's serves or hands a letter. I don't know which it is. But yes, hands George a letter. And it's the lawsuit from Glenda. And she's suing for not only half the business, but half the house. So George loses it, starts going off on a rant about everybody being ungrateful, family, customers, everything. Everyone always wants too much. And of course, the widow has come back in during this and has witnessed the whole thing.
But I think that's smoothed over, though.
So, first of all, I think Glenda getting half the house should have been a given.
For sure. Plus, he doesn't even live there anymore.
Doesn't even live there anymore.
He's got a CPAP machine over at Eileen's.
Yeah, sell it.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Please, 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 please tell me they are not trying to set Glenda and Michael up romantically, because I do not feel any romance.
It doesn't feel like an honest connection. I think they're setting them up to be like confidants and buddies.
That's what I'm hoping. I would love to see the two of them out on the town.
Yeah, confidants and buddies, for sure. They're going to be each other's wingmen.
I hope so.
Yeah, because they're not romantic.
I hope so. I don't know. They keep forcing them together an awful lot.
But I mean, yeah, no, it's not. It would be, one of them would have to change drastically. And I can't, Michael's not doing it. No.
I thought that was Kev.
No, Kevin goes, woof, 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 woof.
All right, speaking of Abi, Kev, and Cassie. So another video has been posted, and
Abby.
Cassie is taunting Abi about it, and Kev says, "You're fired."
Yes. Yes.
And Cassie says, you can't fire me because my son's one of the co-owners. Everyone turns to look at Tyrone and he's like,
it's like, hit the road, hit the bricks, Ma.
Yeah, you're gone. So the police have said they can't do anything about it. It was uploaded using a VPN, which is a way to hide your location and identity, in case anyone doesn't know. And the police, all they can do is suggest that they hire a lawyer who can try to get the companies to take down the videos when they pop up.
Yeah.
And then just to add insult to injury, two lads come by the garage who, one of them has recognized Abi from the videos online, and they come to ogle her, basically.
Take video.
Yes. Yeah. So Abi's visit with the twins who've come from Australia gets cancelled last minute because the mom says Lexi has chicken pox. And Abi says, I can still come over. I've had chicken pox. And the mom says, no, she's sick. She's not going to see. Yeah. Not going to see anyone. So Abi suspects the mom knows about the videos, which it could be that, but also if you're looking after a kid who has chicken pox, knowing the second one is about to get chicken pox and you've just flown over from Australia, I think I'd be like, we're not doing anything this week.
Not doing anything. Exactly.
I think that's fair enough.
Too dangerous.
Yep. So Nina tells Abi about a service that Dev used to take down Ash's videos.
Yeah.
And then Maria also shares about when she had deep fakes of herself posted.
Yeah.
So it's a bit sad that all these
people on the street have had deep fake porn videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ash's wasn't deep fake, but still.
No.
Yes.
But still.
So they talked to the company, and it's going to be £5,000 a month.
So is Dev paying that currently?
I think so.
£5,000 a month?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you have to pay that for as long as you want them to stay gone, basically.
Right.
And so they decide they can't afford that.
Sure.
So Abi suggests that they use essentially one of those payments. They use £5,000 to hire a private cybersecurity investigator to try to find out who posted the videos, to get at it that way. And Kev says, okay, let's do that. But if they do it, anything they find, they have to hand over to the police. They're not going all vigilante on them.
We're not going to go kick this guy's door down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Assuming it's a guy.
Yep. And not Cassie.
I don't think it is. I think it's Cassie.
Yeah. So will the private investigator figure it out? Or B, are they just going to find some scammer who says he's a cybersecurity investigator and he's going to take all their money?
That's possible, but it's not as much of a juicy story. I think what's going to happen, they're going to get a private investigator. He's going to say, I've traced back the IP address, and it's the garage. And that will be...
Right. That's going to be Cassie's...
undoing.
Right. Are they going to think it was Tyrone?
No.
I don't think so either. I hope not.
Tyrone's watched that video enough.
Aw.
I've watched it on my computer. I've watched it on my phone.
Wait, what if it turns out it's his mom? Because remember, there was a bit of a theory that it could be Cassie's body.
It's Cassie's body? Oh, poor Tyrone. Oh, God. I hadn't thought of that. That's awful. Hang on, I need a minute.
Well, on to more awful things.
Okay.
Joel and Dee Dee.
Okay.
So Dee Dee keeps asking Joel if he's dropped Nathan as a client. And he continuously does a really good job.
Creative ways of getting out of not answering that. Or basically, he's finding ways to not answer the question creatively.
Not answer the question, deflect, distract. It's quite impressive. She assumes that he has indeed dropped Nathan.
Yeah.
So whenever Joel is working with Nathan, is meeting with him, he's trying to convince Nathan that he should plead guilty.
Yeah.
He says, with the DNA evidence, with all the other stuff, you're going to get convicted. So just plead guilty and they'll go easier on you.
Right.
Of course, Joel's conflict of interest is an understatement. Joel's hoping that they just stop looking because Nathan pleads guilty and it's done and dusted.
And he wants to keep this Nathan is his keep out of jail free card. Basically.
Yes, exactly. Yes, if they have Nathan and they haven't banged to rights, then they're not looking anywhere else.
Banged to rights. That was very Coronation Street.
Thank you. So Nathan's angry at this tactic, and he asked Joel repeatedly if Joel thinks that Nathan did it. And Joel, again, champion deflector, doesn't answer that question. odd line that Joel can't see. He doesn't want to lie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where he draws the line.
Yep, I think he did.
Joel invites Dee Dee out to lunch at the bistro for the next day to meet his parents.
Who are greatly cast, I thought.
They were.
They're perfectly cast.
Yes, I agree. So she's very nervous. The night before, they're at her flat. They're all lovey-dovey. She's made him dinner. He gets some on his tie. Considering his whole tie was dipped in ketchup.
Massively, like 2 inches of ketchup.
He seems to go over to the sink, wet a paper towel.
No, Dee Dee brought wine over. First of all, it went chook, chook, and then he went over and dried it off, and it was just gone.
Yes, it was just...
So I want to know, Dee Dee, if you're listening, what kind of wine did you use? Because that was impressive.
Yeah. And then for some reason, he decided he should dry it with a hairdryer. I would think that's not what you would want to do.
Not for a silk tie, I wouldn't think.
No, or just, I don't know, take it off. Anyways.
Yeah.
So he went into her bedroom to, because of course, hairdryers aren't in the bathrooms there.
That's right.
Because of the outlets. Went into her bedroom, closed the door, hair drying. His phone rang. He didn't hear his phone. He didn't hear Dee Dee calling for his phone. Dee Dee picked up the phone to answer it, and it's Nathan. And that's how she finds out that he's still representing Nathan. So first of all, I would think as a lawyer, you would recognize the number of the prison, and you would maybe think, I shouldn't pick the phone up when I'm a bit squiffy and say, Joel's phone. Yeah.
Exactly.
So she is very upset about this whole thing, needless to say.
Sure.
Sarah and Bethany then overhear in the caf about Joel still representing Nathan, and they're very upset. And then Joel later goes up to see Bethany in Sarah's flat.
Yeah, that was weird.
To, I don't know, apologize? Or was he planning on, like, killing her or something?
I don't know.
First of all, why would he know Bethany was going to be at her mom's flat when she lives with Daniel?
Plus also no, it's a terrible conflict of interest. Then someone could bring that up saying, well, listen, the reason we've got all this stuff against Nathan is because this guy's in buddy-buddy with the woman who's accusing him.
But also, if you want to apologize, just, I don't know, ask Dee Dee to say, hey, Dee Dee, can you text her and say...
See her in the Rovers?
I'm sorry. See her in the Rovers? Yeah, so anyways, probably luckily for Bethany, Craig wanders up because, of course, the downstairs door had been left open. Coronation
Street would be a lot more calm and well-organized and run if you and I lived on it.
I agree. We're not great at organizing stuff, but...
But we haven't killed anybody?
No. We leave doors locked.
We leave doors locked. We never forget our phones.
No. You forget your glasses sometimes.
Occasionally.
So... Bethany explains that Joel was there apologizing. I don't think she said he was there apologizing for representing Nathan, but I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
But anyways, in following along...
That was kind of the gist of it, though.
With the great policing, Bethany asks Craig, hey, are you going to be interviewing Ellie anytime soon? By name.
Yeah.
And Craig, in front of Nathan, in front of Joel, who's representing Nathan, who they suspect of...
Yeah.
Killing Lauren and being involved with Ellie.
Yeah.
Says, yes, we're going to be interviewing Ellie this afternoon.
Yeah, what is going on? Terrible police work.
Yes. Poor Ellie, again, let down.
Yeah.
Ellie is actually maybe the only person let down more than Simon in all of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So this is why when Craig and also... talk about bad policing. As we talked about before, when the police showed up at Ellie's flat, she'd scarpered.
Yeah.
But they sent, so this young woman who you suspect is being trafficked, a sex worker, abused emotionally, if not physically.
Yeah.
Perhaps by someone that you got in for murder.
Yes, terrible.
They send PC Tinker.
Not sending her best and brightest.
And some ancient old woman.
She wasn't that ancient.
If you're going to go to a 21-year-old.
She was wiry and she could handle herself.
If you were going to go to a 21-year-old, you need your youngest female police officer, someone who she feels she can talk to.
I feel that you're being unfairly mean to the police officer that you thought was slightly too old to be there.
It's like you brought that woman's mom or grandma.
She wasn't
Ellie's
ancient.
mom or grandma. No, she wasn't ancient, but she was too ancient to be doing that particular interview.
That particular incident situation.
They should have just sent her to arrest Toya.
But
and
listen,
got a
this is the
younger-
problem. This is the problem. They don't have the funds. They don't have the funds. They don't have the resources.
So Dee Dee is seated in the bistro with Joel's parents. He's not there yet. So if I'm meeting your parents for the first time and I'm nervous about it, I'm going to wait for you to be done work.
Red flag.
And then we're going to go in together.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, you would never. I would never do that.
no, you're right. Well, you
There's
might try.
many things that Joel's done that I'd never do.
Joel finally arrives. The mom is being a bit needly.
Yeah.
A bit snippy.
Prickly.
Prickly.
Bit prickly.
Yes. And the dad is obviously a posh person as well, but he's much more jovial.
Bit of a stereotype, bit of an archetype of that this long-suffering husband who's like,
Yes. Yeah. And then for some reason, Ed Bailey is having a drink in the bistro and decides that he should go on over and introduce himself.
well, we hadn't seen him in a while. We've got to get Ed in there somehow.
That's right. So he didn't bring up his gambling.
Hey, Dee Dee, can I come over, Dee Dee? I don't know why it's sort of New York now, but that's close.
Yeah, apparently. And then after Ed leaves, Joel's mom gets even more condescending. Essentially, she says, "Oh, well, now I understand where you came from. Really, you're much more successful than I thought. Just having your little law office down the street." She doesn't know it's prone to floods.
Second floor
She
floods.
doesn't know everything that's going on there.
Biblical level floods.
Exactly.
I did think that she was like the perfect, like from like a 1980s movie of a mother-in-law, though.
It was like if Ferris Bueller's mom became a nightmare mother-in-law.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she never would.
No, that's true. So that's it for Dee Dee. She's had too much. That's too much. And she leaves. Not long after, Joel follows her out. Eventually finds her in the flat. I don't know where he thought she'd go. But anyways, eventually finds her in her flat. Apologizes for his parents. Says his mom will come round eventually. She's always like that. And then he takes out a ring and proposes.
Did he take out a ring?
I think he does.
I don't think he had a ring.
Didn't he?
I don't think he had a ring. I remember paying attention
Because
to
I
that
thought
part.
he bought a ring.
I'm sure. Let us know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure when he kneeled down, I thought he doesn't have a ring ready. He's just doing this to like.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking that I'd heard he had a ring earlier.
But then you're right, because later.
Is she wearing a ring? Well, let's talk about what happens later.
Okay. All right.
So Dee Dee then afterwards goes round to her dad's place and tells Ed and Michael that he'd proposed. And to Michael's credit, so Michael does not like Joel, has never forgiven him for the secretly still being married, having the daughter thing.
Fair.
But to Michael's credit, he says to her, listen, how would you feel if you weren't with him anymore? Like if you never saw him again? And she says, well, I'd feel devastated.
Yeah.
So her reasoning for declining his proposal was she said that she loves him, but she doesn't feel they've been together long enough yet.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel she's got to know him enough.
Totally fine. Totally fair.
But then she thinks about how she would feel if he weren't there anymore. And I think realized there's a really good chance. Like, I don't know how many people survive a proposal with a negative answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that usually makes it so awkward that
Yeah.
people go their separate
Yeah.
ways. So she invites Joel to the Rovers and essentially says yes.
Yeah.
If I were her, I'd have proposed to him, I think. But anyways.
Really?
Well, yeah, because you kind of have, after you said no,
You got to reciprocate it a little
I
bit.
feel that you have to then,
Right.
like the question has been
Put your
asked.
neck out there.
The question has been asked and answered.
Yeah.
So we need a new question.
Yeah.
But anyways, they get engaged. So yeah, they're going to still get married. Although interestingly, when there was something, Michael made a comment about Glory being the flower girl, and Dee Dee said something along the lines of, well, she'll be 10 by the time we finally get married. So this is a weird thing. Now, granted, I'm going off of reality television shows, and celebrities. But usually when you have people who are abstinent before marriage,
Yeah.
it's usually a fairly quick courtship.
But are they being abstinent?
Yes. Dee Dee has said she's not sleeping with him until like, she's not having sex with anyone until she's married. She's previously had relationships like that. This is part of her reinventing herself. So yes, they are abstinent.
All right.
That's why Joel sleeps on the couch.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So anyways, here's my question. Is Joel proposing to Dee Dee because he's worried about getting caught for Lauren, to cover up something? Like, why is he proposing?
He's proposing because he wants to kind of like put as much distance between what he's done and where he is as possible.
Do you think he's doing that consciously?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Meaning, I don't think he's like not aware of it. I think he's thinking about it in the back of his mind. I think he's thinking about it. And he's thinking, if I continue this, if I look more and more solid and I have a wife, this reduces any suspicions of me.
See, I think it's just two totally separate parts of his brain.
Maybe. Because he does look very different. You're right. He does get portrayed very different when he's like with Ellie. And he's got his evil, murderous face on.
Exactly.
And then when he's with Dee Dee, he's got this sort of soft, understanding, nice guy. Yeah. Who would have thought back then, all that time ago, when he paid for Ed Bailey's coffee?
Exactly.
That he turned out to be a murderer.
He wasn't yet at that point, or at least not of that person.
Well, we don't, I think probably.
No, meaning I don't think Lauren was yet murdered at that point. You think there's more before?
I think maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see if Gary can get Kelly's dad pinned on him.
Exactly. Why not? Throw them all in there.
Yep.
Because what's her face? D.S. Swain, she'll be all loved up with Carla.
And she'll just go, sure, whatever.
Yeah. She'll be looking at Carla like, I can't even figure out your face.
All right. So humorous moments. So at least there were glimpses of humor this week. Last week, there really wasn't any. But I will say I enjoyed from a language perspective, even though it was horrible, Cassie describing the videos of Abi as showing her fine china.
I thought it was bold of you to choose a humorous moment from that particular storyline, but I appreciate it.
It's a dark storyline, but I like it. Do you remember, was it Stella? Stella, Fizz's mom? Whose mom? Stella. But anyway, she was going to go to the washroom at the Rovers and she said she had to go shake the lettuce.
I do remember that. And I remember that mainly because it became
so horrific.
It jumped into your lexicon too fast. And you would say that when we were out with friends. And I'd be like, oh, God, why? No, don't say that.
It was only with friends who watched Coronation Street and they understood
well, that's how it starts.
Yes. So I appreciate a good, absolutely terribly good reference. And the other thing, I can't remember if Evelyn was telling Cassie she wouldn't watch the video of Abi or if it was just she wouldn't look at something that Cassie was trying to show her, but she said she couldn't do that as she was saving her eyes for her Sudoku.
That was pretty good. I have two humorous moments I noted.
Okay.
I made extensive notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 words I wrote down.
Oh, words. Okay. I was going to say, there wasn't that much funny.
I liked, first of all, actually, there's three things I want to mention. One with my Kevin impersonation, okay? I realized that Kevin is just Richard Nixon, except from Manchester.
Shorter. Yeah. He's very jowly for someone who's not heavy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I liked in the Rovers, Sean behind the bar complaining about when all the Barlows were together getting into a ruckus and he went flamin' Barlows.
I like that too.
And I also thought there's a band name sitting there for someone.
Oh, yeah.
Flaming Barlows.
Flaming Barlows.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
And then finally, the one I really, really, really enjoyed was when Leanne was talking to Toya and Toya's pinning her down on the cult thing that she's part of.
Yeah.
The Institute. And she said, your precious leader. And she said, Rowan's not the leader, that's Willow. Which I just love the fact that she said it like they're supposed to know who Willow is. Rowan's not the leader, that's Willow. Willow. Fantastic.
And for the lovely moments, I will say, so one, just a little bit, because I enjoy that they're, even though they've taken a bit of humor out recently, I still feel they have someone whose job is to insert real life small moments.
Yeah.
Recently.
It hasn't gotten
maybe
dark,
hired.
but it's gotten, there's lots of serious storylines.
But I did like when Sarah found out that when Bethany told Sarah that Dee Dee and Joel were engaged, and Sarah did a little scrunchy face and she was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how people react.
Exactly.
You don't have to go over and say anything. You don't have to do it. But
yeah,
I
you'd
like
be
that.
happy for them.
The other one I really liked was Debbie taking Abby, who's her sister-in-law, to the pub to console her about all these videos and everything, and ordering 2 ginger ales.
Yeah.
Because Abby doesn't drink. So first of all, I'm so glad not to see someone who's not drinking alcohol have to get one of those orange juices that are always
orange
thick and
juice
warm
again.
looking.
They look terrible, don't they?
Having had British pub orange juice, it is terrible.
They look like you could chew the last half of it.
And I feel if you just let it sit there for an hour, it would be one color up top and one color on the bottom.
Oh, for sure.
So anyways, I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. That's great. That's good. Well, that was a good recap, Shani. God, it's 50 minutes already. Holy smokes. Thanks so much for watching and or listening. Remember that you can subscribe at weatherfield.ca and you'll get an email notification every time there's a new episode. You can also, of course, subscribe and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You have been listening to North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast. Do the theme. I think my Kevin was good.
No,
Give me a line that Kevin would say.
I don't know.
Don't you worry about it, Abby. No vigilante.
No, you're going to have to work harder next.
I can't.
We'll both need to work harder for next week.
Yeah, exactly. We'll practice. See ya.